Hair loss is so wild because one day you could have way too much hair, be almost burdened by the amount of hair, and then bam, you hit something like pregnancy, your hair falls out in giant clumps, it changes your entire self-perception, not to mention your daily routine. It can really affect your self-esteem. Or you could be like my husband, where he knew he had a pattern of hair thinning in his family, and he's had to deal with that now in his 30s and 40s. So there are a lot of different things that I wish I had known about 10 years ago that I think would have really helped along my own hair loss journey. There aren't a ton of quick fixes, but I do want to share with you the things that I have learned, the things that have genuinely helped me, and you know, just knowing that like we're in this journey together. Just as a little note, I will say as a disclaimer for this entire video, it takes time to see results. Hair doesn't just magically grow super fast in a week or two. It does take time to grow. With everything that I'm talking about, you have to give these things at least a month or two to really see if it works for you. With that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the video. The first thing I wanted to talk about is routines. Now, I don't want to get like crazy in depth because I did a video kind of recently going very much in depth in my routines that I did that really helped stimulate my hair growth. I will link that video up above if you guys want to check that out. But to make a very long story short, there is a really important emphasis that I put on my actual daily hair cleaning and maintaining routine. When I'm in the shower, I try to do a very thorough shampoo. Sometimes I do a double shampoo. I try not to wait too many days in between washes where my oil and dirt kind of gets built up because I don't want to clog the actual hair follicles. I find that generally having clean hair gives it a better chance of growing healthier as well. And then in terms of other daily routines, I try to eat really healthy and clean with lots of protein, lots of fibers, and I also try to get balanced sleep at night, which in some ways you might be like, oh yeah, that's like duh, that's what every doctor says about every ailment. But specifically, your hair grows and regenerates the most when you are sleeping at night. So I say this as a duh kind of thing, but it is actually really valid and true, and maybe one of the most underrated things we can do for our hair growth. The next thing I wish I had known sooner about my hair is to use a red light LED helmet. You can see my hairline here now compared to a few months postpartum. There's less shedding, more density, and fuller coverage around my temples. Over the years, I've tried a few different surface shampoos and serums, but they can't reach where hair growth actually happens at the follicle level. Red light therapy works deeper on a cellular level to energize those hair follicles. After doing a ton of research on red light LED products, I personally had purchased the Current Body LED mask for my face. So when I found out they also had an LED hair growth helmet, I was honestly very excited because my hairline, especially like right here and around the sides of my face, could really use a little help. I already had trust in the LED spectrums that Current Body uses, so it's one of the reasons I was so excited to partner with them to share my experience with the helmet as well. The Current Body LED hair growth helmet uses clinically proven red light wavelengths between 620 and 660 nanometers that penetrate the scalp to stimulate follicles, boost circulation, and help strengthen hair at the root. In clinical testing, users saw up to 123% faster hair growth, 72% less shedding, and 26% more hair volume after consistent use. You just use this for 10 minutes per day. I like using it on a clean scalp. And one of my favorite features is the built-in Bluetooth headset. In the evenings when I'm relaxing with like an audiobook or a show, I like that I can just relax with this on. As you can see, this provides full scalp coverage, so it treats the entire head really evenly, especially compared to other helmets on the market. Plus, it has clinical backing, which are big reasons why results are more consistent. The earpieces are also adjustable, plus the helmet itself comes in 2 sizes, which is great news if you have a difficult to fit head like myself. Results take time because of the natural hair cycle. Most people start noticing an improvement in thickness and reduced shedding around 8 to 12 weeks, but with consistent use, it's so worth it. Red light therapy products are an investment, so if you'd like a discount, you can use code HEAD2TOE for 10% off at the link in the info box below. Okay, now I want to talk about the actual products from more of like a medicinal ingredients point of view. Although I myself haven't used necessarily the hair growth products that are really popular, like a lot of these like more prescription level products. My husband just started on that journey, so he definitely has a lot of opinions and a lot of things to say about that. I want to start from the things that are more generically available to then go into the more high level prescription kind of options that you have. Okay, I'm gonna start with the products that I've used personally. I definitely have tried a fair share of hair scalp serums. The one that I've been using currently is the One Skin Peptide Scalp Serum. It's the OS01 hair serum. And what I really love about this one is it has a very lightweight feel to it, and it's also a bit hydrating, but it doesn't leave that kind of oily, filmy kind of feel on my scalp, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. I've definitely tried other ones that felt a little bit greasier, and I'm very particular about not wanting my roots to look really oily. This one doesn't do that. It especially is more efficacious if you use it in combination with a derma roller. Full disclosure, I have not been derma rolling my scalp. However, my husband has been using that. This one is actually from One Skin, but there are different depths of derma rollers that you can purchase, or you can also try using a microneedling stamp instead if you don't like the rolling process. So far, my husband has felt okay using this one and comfortable. It hasn't been like too scary to try, even though the idea of a bunch of little needles can be a little bit intimidating. He has been using this once a week in combination with this product right here, which is called minoxidil. In layman's terms, this is Rogaine, and the type he uses is the 5% concentration. I actually think that a lot of Rogaine type of products are marketed towards women that sometimes have a lower concentration and have actually like less efficacy for more price. So don't pay attention too much about the different gendered approach. Minoxidil is minoxidil. It works for men or women. You can use it on your head, you can use it on your beard, you can use it on your eyebrows even. We found that the most cost-effective way to buy this is at Costco. It does come in two different versions, a foam and a liquid. There are pros and cons to both. Some people might find one version to be easier to apply than the other, but this one in particular has a little dropper, so he just applies this along his hair. So he's been applying this every single night, and just on one of those nights before he applies the minoxidil, he'll do the derma roller first and then apply this. It will make the anagen phase, which is that growth period of your hair, extended to be longer, so that you'll have more hair in the growth phase for longer, which means more actual hairs growing, thicker overall volume. But you do have to keep using it, otherwise the hair leaves the anagen phase and will fall out and revert back to its normal hair cycle. So another product that you can use to support these other routines, you can actually use it in addition to minoxidil, is Nizoral shampoo. So this is actually totally over the counter. It is a ketoconazole 1% anti-dandruff shampoo, but actually ketoconazole can have a higher concentration at a prescription level to be used for hair loss as well. It's the same stuff as prescription things, just at a lower concentration. This is something that we always keep in our shower. And when you apply it, let it marinate for like a couple of minutes before you wash it out. And then obviously this is not for the hair on my scalp, but I have tried my fair share of lash and brow enhancers as well. I do have your typical short, straight lashes that many of us of Asian descent have. So if I can boost them up just a little bit, that's always a nice thing. I have tried Latisse in the past, which is a prescription lash serum that boosts your lash growth. That made my lashes super long, but it also kind of gave me eye discoloration. So honestly, dependent on if you're okay with that, that's an option. But I actually was looking for something that would not discolor my eyes. So I've been using the Therese and Honor eyelash and brow serum. And at first I thought it wasn't doing anything until I stopped using it for a while. And then all of a sudden my lashes got way short and I was like, oh, I need to start using it again. So I do actually think this works, but it does take patience. It takes a couple of months to really see a big difference. And then the last product I wanted to mention is actually Tretinoin. So I've been using Tretinoin for a very, very long time. I am a Tretinoin truther when it comes to my skin. It's basically the only anti-aging ingredient in skincare that I truly, truly believe in. Again, if you want to know more about Tretinoin, I will leave a link to a video up there with a TMI level video talking all about Tret. However, when it comes to hair loss, this is actually something that I feel like has been buzzy a little more recently, in addition to to some of these other products, but you can actually apply this on the scalp. What it does is it's a vitamin A derivative and it increases the cell turnover. So when you're doing it on your face, that is making new baby skin come up quicker, and same for your scalp. If it's having an increase in cell turnover and having new baby cells on your hair, that can also help support new hair growth as well. I don't think that anybody should just like jump right into tretinoin. This is a prescription product, but I definitely think if you're already in discussion with your dermatologist, then ask about tretinoin for your scalp, using it in addition to other products to help for hair growth. Hey guys, I was editing and I wanted to pop in really quick and say that I forgot to say this as a disclaimer, and I do think this is very important. I am not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor, so do not take anything I say in this video as medical advice. There are certain products that I am mentioning that are not necessarily okay for pregnant women to take specifically. So if you are pregnant, if you plan on being pregnant, definitely talk with a doctor, ask about the products that are right for you to use. I just want to make sure everybody is staying healthy on their hair regrowth journeys. Finally, something that I wish I had known about my hair and my hair loss journey is about hair type. I feel like now I'm at a place where I have a better understanding of my own hair, that it is somewhere between curly and straight. I have wavy hair texture. I do have a little bit of thicker strands themselves. I used to think my hair was oily, but then it's like when I do this close-up hair scalp analyses, my hair can be a little bit dry at the scalp. So just because something is working for other people online, I actually do think their own hair texture has an impact on what things work well for them. A lot of that has to do with the moisture balance on their own scalp, because hair with more texture tends to absorb more natural oils, and one wash routine is not going to be the same as somebody else's wash routine. And just because washing once a week works well for one person, it doesn't mean that that's going to work for your routine. Everybody has a little bit different hair and hair texture, and that is totally okay. That doesn't mean all is lost. It just means that when you take in advice about hair loss in someone's hair loss journey, it might be that you have to discover by trying what works for you to see what actually is going to be the most effective thing. It's kind of like skincare. Just because something works well for one person who has oily skin, it doesn't mean it'll work for someone with dry skin. We are all a little bit different. It might just be a little more effort in testing things out yourself. And another huge thing that can impact the look and feel of the fullness of your hair is, which seems so simple, your haircut. Be open-minded to change your routine, change your haircut style, and find what is ultimately going to make you feel good about yourself. Because at the end of the day, all of this entire video, it all has to do with not just the actual physical growth of your hair, but what is actually giving you confidence and making you feel good on the inside as well. So that's about it. Those are all of my tips for hair growth. I really hope this was informative for you and is helpful for your own hair loss journey. If you enjoyed this, I would love if you would hit thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my videos. And let me know in the comments if you've experienced hair loss, what products and what routine actually worked for you. Like I said, we're all a bit different. Things work differently for everyone. I would love it if you would share that wealth of knowledge. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!